himself, although we found that still mighty party of the Democratic Party. Let us welcome him to come and address his
Bring the mic stand.
The mic stand. Where is the mic stand?
Oh, it has an owner. May I borrow it kindly? We have to lower it a bit.
Thank you.
Your Excellency, the Chancellor and main celebrant of Zore Life Theological College, and your co-celebrants, including the rector, the regional rector of the Eastern, Central and Southern Africa, and the national rector for Uganda, all the dignitaries, and especially the graduates and their families, dear friends. First, a disclaimer. Looks like I always get accorded these prominent opportunities by accident. May the accidents continue. I have had so many occasions where nobody is thinking about me being a guest of honor. And then all of a sudden, I end up as a guest of honor. I was definitely not the guest of honor. Otherwise, I would have been in your book. But the Reverend Dr. Semamo is a friend. So he called me yesterday morning, requesting me to come and speak to you. I think he has been spending a lot of time near lawyers. So he said the reason he's calling me last minute is because the person he sent to deliver the message seemed not to have delivered the message.
Get us.
Now, I am hosting the Minister of Justice from Malawi for the last 3 days. Even now, as I talk, I had to abandon him in order to keep a promise to a friend and be here. You have been misled to think that there is a keynote address coming. Nothing like that is going to come, because by my standards, what I'm going to deliver is not a keynote address. They will simply be random thoughts, which I hope will shape your journey from now onwards. Because today is a major milestone, worthy of celebrating. Most of you are my personal friends. I don't know which party I will attend and which one I will not attend, but I'm definitely going to have a very good time over the next few days. attending your celebrations. I know many of you in person. The two people who spoke, one is my cabinet colleague, my little sister, and one is a long-time friend with whom we were in parliament. It is stated that our parliament was the best parliament, and believe me, we are not the one who say so. It is other people who say it, so we cannot be blamed for just repeating what others are saying. There's something which made that parliament different. A focus on Uganda and a genuine spirit of caring for each other. We disagreed, but we did not disagree in a disagreeable manner. Among the graduates is my head prefect, the Honorable Esenu, who I knew when I arrived in Namliango in 1984 in Senior 3. I'll tell you a little bit of the story of that journey also. And we have got combat soldiers. The two generals who are here are real combat soldiers. They are not just soldiers, but they are combat soldiers. They know what it is like to die for the country. I hear people talk loosely that they are ready to die for the country, but when the opportunity presents itself, they flee. General Shande has been in charge of civil-military cooperation. An army in a country such as ours cannot only depend on the Sukhoi jet fighters, cannot depend on the tanks, the armored personnel carriers, cannot depend on the machine guns. It has to depend on the people. In fact, 60% of the strength of an army is the support of the citizens of a particular country. And when you lose that support, then you have no army. Therefore, we salute you, even in your retirement, for spreading that message that we must continue to have a people's army without compromise. As for General Bironji, his most important assignment recently, to me, was leading the operation to bring the remaining children of Uganda who were still in Central African Republic. It was a delicate operation. As you know, some of those countries are no man's lands. I don't know why God decided to place us in this corner of the world, but this is a very, very tough neighborhood. Maybe you should have chosen to put Uganda in another part of the world. This neighborhood is so tough, and our country is small, and when you live in a small house, sometimes you have to sleep outside it in order to guard your house. Because by the time the enemy has entered, it is too late. Only an eviction is taking place. There is no longer any fight. You are just being evicted. So we normally have disagreements with our neighbors who host hostile people. So sometimes we request them for permission that can we sleep in your compound because we think there's a threat coming from your big home. Of course, we get misunderstood. We are condemned at the UN. We are condemned. Right now, we are even paying millions and millions of dollars to our neighbors to the west. But now you know the reason. So sometimes we have a choice between being criticized and being killed. So which one would you choose? Would you choose to be killed? I think personally I would prefer to be criticized, but I stay alive. So these are some of the difficult questions that our military have to deal with. The Deputy Inspector General of Police comes from the same village as me. I've observed this journey. The Uganda police has had to become a paramilitary force. I used to be one of those who was criticizing the police for having extreme military training, until I was made aware that policing is no longer about arresting pickpockets. Policing is now about dealing with terrorists who sometimes even hold big people hostages. You remember one time the cardinal was held hostage. Now, if you have a police that is only used to dealing with civilians, they may not be able to respond. One time they held the Honorable Mutagamba hostage. I could go on and on talking about the graduates, but let me say in general terms why this occasion is important. This is really not just about calling yourself a doctor or hanging a certificate on the wall. This is a recognition of what you have already achieved and a challenge for you to do more. At my ripe old age of 58, I have attended very many funerals. People can talk at funerals. People can really talk. But they are really addressing people who can no longer appreciate the accolades. I wish therefore to thank the Chancellor and your entire team for recognizing these ladies and gentlemen while they are alive. If you look at the booklet, it says this recognition for people from all walks of life. Even as we sit here, there's a debate going on social media. Is this worth it? Is it deserved? So let me give you some comfort, because you know I like talking straight. In case some of you will think that you should not walk with your head high because of this degree, let me give you reasons why you should walk with your head high.
Come on. Huh?
This is not about that you have published any thesis. This is not about passing any exam. It simply means this institution, this university, has waived the other requirements on account of what you have achieved. And is it not wonderful that it is on Good Friday? Because tonight, everything is being waived for us. We are now candidates for heaven, thanks to somebody who came and has waived. We have been exempted from a trial. Can you imagine? We will no longer appear for trial. So none of you has faced an academic panel to terrorize you with difficult questions. You have been exempted. I'm so pleased that this thing is taking place on Good Friday, the day of exemption and exoneration. It is said that you are qualified on account of three things: integrity, compassion, and impact. Okay, what's integrity? Integrity means doing what is right rather than what is convenient. I think all of you meet that standard. There are many convenient things you would have done, but you have chosen to do what is right. Secondly, you have demonstrated compassion. You have continued giving and giving and giving. Some of you even are known by what you do. I'm sure many of you are learning that Lady Charlotte is actually called Sarah Kizito, because everybody knows her as Lady Charlotte. Even me, I find it difficult to call her Sarah Kizito. I would just call her Lady Charlotte because that is her brand. Captain Mike Mukula is now trying to avoid our potholes and the standard gauge which is yet to come by making a shortcut through Lake Victoria to bring fuel to Uganda using probably the biggest ship that will be plying our Lake Victoria. May you succeed. We need that because it will. Sometimes you go to a petrol station in Uganda and you find a big sign, no fuel. Why? Because of the issues we have between Eldoret and here. The third one is impact. Now, in addressing you, in reading out the achievements and the citations on which your degree is based, you have been told that you must solve a particular problem. I believe that when God has created each of us, He creates us to solve a particular problem. Of course, some of us think we are supposed to solve all the problems, but that would be mistaken. We are created to solve a particular problem. Even our Lord Jesus Himself came to solve only one problem: the breakdown of communication between God and man. Restoring that relationship, building an everlasting bridge. And that is why He never healed all the lame people. He never fed all the hungry. He never made all the blind to see. Those were actually footnotes, examples. The real work was to give us that exemption. And that is why on the cross, which apparently is tonight, He will say, "It is finished." Now, it's a kind of a paradox. How can you say it is finished when your disciples are being hunted with swords and spears? How can you say it is finished when sick people are still there? So we must know our major assignment on earth. You talked about PhDs. Now, in our family, we have a recent PhD. My brother's son got a PhD from the University of British Columbia. It is on a subject which I myself know nothing about. I even wonder what it is, but it is interesting. Let me read a little bit of what it is about. It's a PhD in experimental medicine. It says that he researched health effects of traffic-related air pollution. He investigated concentration response to diesel exhaust exposure using clinical data, proteomics, and immunoassays, whatever they mean in real English. That he identified concentration-dependent internal markers that are clinically relevant to health measures with potential biomonitoring applications. Now, you have been exempted from that exhausting study. That's why they call you an honorary. Your Excellency, the Chancellor, you have been telling the graduates about their rights and privileges. At the risk of spoiling your day, let me talk about your responsibilities. you have a responsibility to grow. And I wish to propose, dear Chancellor, that there should be a reunion of all those who have received these accolades, so that we can see whether they have grown. Now, a PhD naturally makes you to walk taller. And from today, you are going to walk taller. Even people are going to look at you differently. But again, at the risk of spoiling your day, let me say there's a difference between growing and swelling. Please grow, don't swell.
Thank you.
What will show that you're growing? We live in a world where people think they're entitled not only to their own opinions, but also to their own facts. I wish people were only entitled to their opinion, but we now live in a world where people are entitled to their own facts also. They call them alternative facts. And those who are mistaken about facts are always the most intolerant. Indeed, our greatest fear is no longer error. Our greatest fear is now intolerance. The most ignorant people are the ones who are most intolerant of knowledgeable people. You are supposed to be gurus in your respective fields and in all walks of life. I hope I have sufficiently warned those who think this is about academics to realize that this has nothing to do with academics. Of course, many of you have achieved a lot academically, but this is not what this day is about. You have made a difference wherever you have been, and that is what is being recognized. I have been told that before your names came on the list, you had to go through the processes. You had to be recommended. And I'm told you also didn't know about it until you had been approved by the appropriate organs of the university. Then they broke the news to you. Because it would be very embarrassing to be told you are being considered, then your name does not appear on the list. So you are really the last to get to know that you are being considered. I said you are gurus. Guru is a Hindu word which is composed of two syllables, gu and ru. Gu means darkness. Ru means dispeller. So a guru is a dispeller of darkness. Many of you have dispelled darkness in your lives. You have demystified certain things. Some of you are women who have excelled in business. You have demonstrated that being a woman cannot stop you from excelling in business. Some of you, even with humble academic achievements, have demonstrated that that is actually not an obstacle. Let me tell you about a man called Henry Ford to illustrate my point. As you know, Ford is a major brand in the motor industry. Now, Henry Ford had very dodgy education, very humble education, academically speaking. Because here we seem to respect people who can cram facts and reproduce them on pieces of paper in 3 hours. Then they are told that they are A students. But as the University of Life, have you passed? So a newspaper described Henry Ford as an uneducated and ignorant idealist. And Henry Ford was a stubborn man, so he sued the newspaper. He said, "You are defaming me. I may not be school, but I'm not uneducated. Now, many people mistake schooling for education. Now, when Henry Ford appeared in court, the other lawyer for the newspaper started asking him stupid questions. What's the highest mountain in the world? How long is the river Amazon? How deep is this? The temperature of the Arctic Ocean? That kind of useless questions. Eventually, Henry Ford lost his temper, and this is what he said. And I quote, "Excuse me, sir. I have a row of electric push buttons on my desk. By pressing the right button, I can summon men who can answer any question I desire to ask. Why should I clutter my mind with general knowledge when I have people who can get me the answers I need?" The people who have built this country, those who pay the highest taxes, those who employ the so-called schooled people, the Kwagana Club, as we call them here, these are people with very modest schooling. Another story happened when I went for the peace talks in the bushes of Garamba. A journalist from the BBC started terrorizing Joseph Kony with some questions. And he asked Joseph Kony, "Excuse me, sir, you want to be president of Uganda, but you don't speak English. How can you be president of Uganda?" Joseph Kony's answer just blew me away. He said, "Excuse me, madam. The Russians have been to space. Did they use English to go to space? The Chinese are very strong. They are big manufacturers. Do they use English?" I saw the lady turn white, as in blushing. The color disappeared. So sometimes we glorify the wrong things in reality. I wish to encourage Zoe to continue looking out for those who deserve this kind of accolades, so that those who are spreading light and dispelling darkness may become the true champions of development in our country. Many of you who are here are from diverse backgrounds. Some of you are in politics, like my own Secretary General of the Democratic Party. Many of you do not know a lot about him. He is, of course, well schooled. He was the Deputy Secretary General, then the Secretary General died. Talk about being thrown in the deep end. I didn't know what to do with him. He was not sure whether he was up to the job. So all I had to do was to give him some counseling, generally to tell him that you can do it. Now he's a member of the East African Legislative Assembly. His family holding the party together as the Chief Administrative Officer. But before that, he was also a national football star. In the days when Mbale Heroes was a very powerful football club in Uganda, he was one of the key strikers of Mbale Heroes. Finally, may we not be too self-absorbed as to not take an interest in other people. Now, these people all the way from Philadelphia are interested in you. That's why they brought you. But you find that many times we are not interested in our neighbors. Even in parliament, the members of parliament don't know each other. That is at the essence of true compassion. We don't even visit each other. Sometimes I've personally been embarrassed when a colleague dies. Then I realize that I actually don't even know where they live. Then I have to make that embarrassing call. Where is his home? And this is a person you are pretending to be a friend of. So let us know each other better. And some of the best ways is through traveling together. When you travel together, you get to understand who a person is. I congratulate you again, and I hope my real speech will be given when you have a reunion of all of you, because these are just random thoughts. You have been selected because of your achievements. You have got an opportunity. You are going to be admired and envied in equal measure. Those who haven't got the PhD are going to try to ridicule you. You know, sometimes jealousy is actually a reverse admiration. When people are jealous of you, know about the sour grapes. When the fox could not get the grapes, he said, I think you are even sour. I'm not going to miss you anymore. So there's no reason why you should even respond, because that's our job. The job of those who know you and the institution that has given you this award. I urge you from now to move without fear. Amen. And not to fear the obstacles, because today you have been armed, you have been recharged, you have been refired. There is no need for you to worry that nobody is appreciating. I'm sure many of you have been wondering whether anybody is appreciating what we are doing. Finally, you have realized that people are noticing what you are doing. And some of you may have doubts. Now, it is normal to have doubts. It is normal to have fears. Ask the generals. I'm sure the generals start by having fear, but daily they must overcome the fear. So I hope this shows you that you are capable of overcoming your fears. And these people have now thrown a big challenge at you. Don't be the same 3 to 5 years from now. There is a little story about this king who wanted to give away his daughter, but he wanted to give a test to whoever would marry the daughter and also take half of his kingdom's wealth. So he put a test. He filled the pool with crocodiles and invited the young men who were interested to swim across the pool. On the opposite side, he had his daughter, was holding her hand, and he told the young men, please line up, and when I say go, you jump into the pool. Whoever arrives here safely can take my daughter. The king had hardly finished his short speech, then he had a splash in the water. Somebody was swimming furiously across the pool, and in no time the fellow was this side, breathless. And he told the young man, congratulations, how did you do it? You have earned this. The young man was breathless. He said, King, before I thank you for the prize I'm going to get, I want to know who pushed me into the water. Chancellor, that's what you have done. You are pushing these people into the crocodile-infested waters. Good luck to you all, and may God bless you.
Let us stand and have a
exposing him